And with that, we will go to the phones, 864-468-1400, where we are joined by the head coach of the Spartanburg Day School Griffins, Coach Lee Sartor. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How's everyone?
We are doing well, and we appreciate you coming on. We know, after a game, Coach, sometimes you don't have as much of a voice, but we appreciate you coming on with us this morning. Congratulations on the win last night.
I'm happy to be on. Thank you for having me.
Well, Coach, we'll start with last night's win over Shannon Forest, 80-59. Saw some highlights where Zion and company all played very well last night. How do you feel about that 80-59 win over Shannon Forest?
Well, anytime you get a victory, it's always good. I was a little concerned because of all of the bad weather. We hadn't had a chance to practice, and so offensively we wasn't as sharp as I would like. And defensively, I thought we made some mistakes. But overall, we did get the victory. The whole team played well. And considering it was homecoming and a lot of distraction, I'm pleased with the win.
Well, Coach, we know obviously a lot about your team because of Zion Williamson, but I've been to a couple of games this year, Coach, and there are a few guys in particular who are playing really well. For those that don't know out there, give us some names of the crew, the company that surrounds Zion Williamson and the guys that are helping out in those wins as well.
Well, Matthew Brown is having an excellent year. He's a 6'7" senior. He plays above the rim as well, and he's a great outside shooter. And we also have Chandler Lynn, again, another high flyer, and he's a lefty like Zion and does a great job for us. And Kyle, the same thing. He's a great player, senior, very smart. And then we have some other kids, Red Fowles has been doing really well, Clay Kalorian, and also Bishop Richardson.
Absolutely, and I enjoy watching Bishop play, especially from behind the three-point arc. Coach, all right, today, Coach Sartor, is the big day that everybody has been waiting for as Zion Williamson will make his commitment tonight.
Everybody but Lee Sartor.
That's right, Coach. We know that you're excited, but are you ready for this to be over with a little bit?
Well, it's a phase, I guess, that's got to happen, and I'm excited for Zion on his announcement. I know it's been a huge experience, a great experience for Zion and our basketball program, but I think he's ready to get it behind him and make that decision tonight at 8.
Coach, you've been coaching Zion for a long time, since before ninth grade. When you started, I want to ask you this. When you first started coaching Zion, the first practice or the first game, did you see this coming? Did you see that he would be the probably the most anticipated waiting announcement in the country on a Saturday night in mid-January?
Well, I knew he was a special player. And a lot of time, young kids, you can see the potential in them. And the only thing you want to really try to do as a coach is to help develop that potential to its fullest. There were several games early where I knew Zion had a chance to be very, very special. But I never anticipated that on his announcement that the whole country seemed to going to stand still to wait and see where he decided to go to college.
I got to see Zion. Y'all came to Landrum at the Battle of the Border, and this was on the preface of him basically changing from a good player to the player that he is now. That one summer, I believe it was his sophomore year, and y'all won the Battle of the Border, and he's playing above the rim, and it was just almost like, hey, I got this talent. And it was from that point to that next year where he just went from a good player to a great player. Can you tell me what that transition right there when it was like, oh, he found out who he is?
Well, here's the thing I think that's important is Zion has always had the basketball IQ of a great player. He's always been very smart, a very heady player. he's always played the game the right way, sharing the basketball, making sure he was efficient on offense. So when he started to grow, he just didn't lose that skill set.
Wow.
And I think that's what have made him so great. He's a point guard in a small forward body.
Coach,
270. I'm trying to put small and 270 together.
Well, the interesting thing about that, I think that Zion is a big boy,
Right.
but he is so cut. He is. That's not any. I mean, I don't let him take his shirt off around me because he's so cut.
well, Coach, I want to ask you this. We were talking about this a little bit earlier in the show, and I was talking about how good of a job you guys and Zion's family has done at keeping this in-house and not letting this decision leak. But I do want to ask you this, Coach, and you don't have to answer, but how many people really know where Zion's going? Have they kept this thing like as private as family only? I mean, how many people know about his decision already?
I don't think the family kind of know. I think the family is still wrestling over the decision. I mean, just imagine having an opportunity to go and play at any college you want to in America, and having Coach K and his staff talk to you, and Roy Williams and his staff talk with you, and Frank Martin and his staff talk to you, and then you got Clemson and Kentucky, Calipari coming in. I mean, he can't make a bad decision.
No.
And I just think, asking him about it, he just repeatedly say, Coach, it's hard. It's a hard decision. Yeah. And he's absolutely right. I mean, it's a great opportunity. But he got all these different schools that are all good programs, all good schools, that he's trying to decide which one is best for him. And I think his family has done a great job with helping him work through all of this. And you're right, they have kept it hush-hush. But I think they realize that he has to make a decision, and that decision is going to be tonight.
Coach, you may not know the answer to this one either, but how long do you think Zion has known? Because I'm sure that he's, like you said, wrestling back and forth with decisions. Do you think he just recently made up his mind where he's going? Or, I know this sounds crazy, or is he still wrestling with it?
I think he probably went to bed last night with his on his mind, and he woke up today with his on his mind, and he's going to go back and forth today. I think in his mind, he knows where he wants to go. But again, it's all about fit for him and what's going to be best for him, and it is about a relationship. I know a lot of kids may have one or two offers, or maybe 3 or 4 at the most, but this kid's got over 50. And he could go and change and make a huge impact on whatever program he decided to play at, and that's the amazing thing. He's just not a regular player. He's one of those players that comes from every 10 to 15 years that kind of transcend his sport, and that's basketball.
Coach Lee Sartor joining the Saturday Sports Report this morning. Coach, before we let you go, I know your voice is hurting you a little bit, but how impressed have you been, Coach, and how good have these in-state schools done at recruiting Zion in this whole process?
They have done an excellent job. I am so impressed with Frank Martin and his staff, and Barnell and his staff down at Clemson. Zion is an in-state guy, and I think he always wanted to stay in state. But at the same time, I think he got to understand that, the Blue Bloods are got a huge history, and they all want him to play at their place as well.
Does that drive the blue blood coaches crazy, Coach, that Zion has wanted to stay in state for so long? And, Coach K and Coach Roy Williams, all these coaches are just chomping at the bit. Does that drive them crazy, you think, just to know that he may stay in state?
Well, here's the thing. I think that's important. I think Zion has been able to build a relationship with all these coaches. And he's such a great kid, such a likable kid. And I think they all generally like Zion. And, yeah, I would assume that the Blue Bloods are kind of used to getting who they go after right away.
That's right.
And Zion has been a little different. But I think Zion cares about all those colleges that have recruited him, all those coaches. He has a great deal of respect for all of the schools. And I think when he announced tonight, it would be in a respectful way, acknowledging all these coaches. And but he's only one person. He can't go to 50 colleges. He can only go to one. And so he's going to make that decision tonight.
Well, Coach, Dean has one more question, and I know where he's going with this because we might can write a book about it. Life after Zion.
What, you had 4 years? 5 was Zion?
Well, normally you have 2 good years with the player. That's their junior year and senior year.
Right.
A lot of times only 1 year. I've been very fortunate to have the kid 4 years. And, we're trying to get through this year. This is the most important year because we're trying to, we still have some goals we're trying to reach. And,
right.
Next year we'll take care of next year. We're still in the midst of this year, and we got to make sure we take care of business this year.
Right. Well, I know that graduation is the curse of high school, but you've got 8, 9 games as far as regular season, and cherish each moment, I guess. Because you've waited all this time training, sweating, and working, and then all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, he's not going to be here next year. So that's going to be a void.
Well, it'll be a huge void, but it's going to be a void that as a coaching staff, as a coach and his high school coach, you're going to be able to look back and see him playing on television,
right,
or going to see him play in person and say, well, I had a chance to coach him, and I had a chance to help him with this skill set or that skill set. And, I want him, I think he'll be one and done, and we'll be able to see him play in the NBA.
That'd be awesome.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Looking forward to tonight. We will see you this afternoon, and we appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you,
Coach,
sir.
Talk to you soon. That is Lee Sartor, head coach of the Spartanburg Day School Griffins.